And here we have a presentation about the Bayon Temple as well as the Angkor Wat Temple. All right. And with us going over both of these, we have something very important that needs to be outlaid and went over. When we look at Angkor Wat, we are looking at my discovery, and I hope that everybody can comprehend this. And I'm going to go over one of my previous videos I've already went over, released in the past year, actually. And it pretty much authenticates everything I'm showing in this video. So what you see right here is actually Angkor Wat and the Bayon Temples area right there slash Angkor Thom or Angkor Thom. All right. And when you think about my discovery and then think about this, you will realize that this is a sky view being shown consistently. That's the one thing that we see consistently going on. We have Angkor Wat drawn over here just like we have right here. All right. If you can see the fourth thing going on there, how we have it almost looks like where you can put screws for a screwdriver in. Same thing here. Like you put for bolts. You know, like if you were to tighten something up, think about the central area being tight as well. You have this central area right there. So everything perfectly lines up, especially once you put this on top of each other. That's what would help authenticate it, right? If what I was saying were true. Because the hypothesis so far is that Angkor Wat, as we see here, and the Bayon Temple were both constructed while using my work as the base plan, the base design. I hope you all can understand that. Cut on the comments. And there you can see what I showed in the previous video. You can see the outline of the Bayon Temple right there. All right. Now what we need is to drive again, right? Go back to this. And that Bayon Temple outline I was speaking of is right there. And when you pay attention to it, like I was showing, and place it directly where you see the geometry that you see mine having it at, is exactly like that. It's like it was outlined, if you can understand that. The number 2 and 7 almost never get looked over. I hope y'all understand that. Extremely important. You see how it follows the same structure? The influential blueprint, the base design for both temples. And they stretched out the metrics. So when y'all see my logo, that's how you end up knowing what that even means. It's not the Illuminati, as you can see right here. So what you do is, if that were the case, you would have to lock and fixate that on there. And that's where you end up doing something like this. As you can see in the previous slide, you had the Bayon Temple slash Angkor Thom. Angkor Thom is just like this right here, as you see here. And so that would mean that the center, if this is the center box of my work, that would mean that Angkor Thom is supposed to be, or the Bayon Temple is supposed to be done just like this, and everything else would easily fixate based on the square. Now understand that if this were off, then as well, it would not line up at the square at the end. I hope you understand that too. The metrics even lining up at the corners of the square is what I'm getting at. The outermost corners of the squares, if you have the mind to comprehend what I'm saying. Like the Bayon Temple, what I'm showing you is right here. Right here. The corners of these squares are right here. What are the odds that these corners of these squares end up actually lining up with my work? Everything, do you know how odd? I hope you can get what I'm saying, y'all. Do you know how odd the odds of that is? Because if you continue at a 45-degree angle, the size of the temple could have been bigger than that. That shows that they use my work. I hope y'all even get that. Like, for real. If you continue, what I mean is they could have stopped at this point right here and went down equally down here and still made a smaller square. But that then would have made my work not the center, if you get what I'm saying. The square on the outside fits exactly at that point, like I show you my work upon you putting it in the center. Hold on. Right here. You see this right here? That's what I was speaking of. The center of my work where 0 and 9 make a square. That black square in the center. That black square really is where my eye is right here. When you zoom all the way in, that's it. And that's the Bayon temple, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And there's no reason, unless it's perfectly in evidence that it was used, that the corners of this square should line up perfectly with that square there, in order to get Angkor Wat to line up perfectly over here as well, because mind you, Angkor Wat has to line up over here. Now there is going to be a slight deviation in the line as well, but you can see the influence where things stop. Like you see where Angkor Wat stops right here at the center as well, just like the Bayon temple is right there. They're on the same road, same exact. And then it's running through the center where the number 2 is. Right in the middle. And then when you zoom in on this grid system, they had a certain geometry. So that's now where that's the proof there too. If you would zoom in, you would see that too if it was used. And that's where we go to this video here. You see what's going on there? And when you zoom in closer, that's what you see. Okay, so it's definitely been stretched as well. It's skewed. This is not a perfect picture here, because that's not shaped the same. The other one is a satellite image. This is a digitally rendered image. And so that's very important. Where this is placed at matters as well too, is because it's down lower. So at that point, as you can see, you got two square. The square of Bayon temple should be right there, the center of the work, right? Then you also have the square of Bayon temple right there, like everything was outlined. But when you go further to Angkor Wat, the Nazca Lines is right there, but my discovery is seen invisible at Angkor Wat. See how crazy that is? Yeah, I said both of them. That's a 3D version of my work. Angkor Wat is literally a three. The towers up above are literally the pyramid, the discovery.
When you look at these green dots, the green dots are representative 1 and 8. The green 1 and 8. I can't make this up at all. But the four corners that you see 0 right there at that corner, none at this.
All right. So, how many towers? How many rings do we have on these towers?
Can I matter?
Mm-hmm. That's it all day. That's crazy. I'm gonna redo this stream in a different way.